the dude on TikTok, and he has this camera set up, and he has a little functioning thing, and it's almost like a Superman.
Yeah.
But it's in another state. And then he presses the button for it to go. Then he's like, "Oh shoot, I messed up. I forgot to put the belt on." And then it drops.
Oh yeah.
Bruh, I was laughing literally last night at 3:41 in the morning at this fool clowning these people, bruh. Like that HB.
Well, I guess when you catch them off guard, it's the best. Because I've seen some where they do a countdown. They go 3, 2, and they do it at 2. Yeah. Would you ever do something like that?
What?
Something like that.
What? To hit the button or be on the machine?
Be on the machine.
You out your mother loving mind, bruh. You see them roller coasters going crazy now? Them old wooden machines be messing up.
I'm not an adrenaline junkie, so I don't mess with that stuff.
I gotta disagree.
Well,
you just don't like adrenaline from roller coasters.
Yeah.
What's the name of this one?
Let's go. All things men's mental health. Men's mental health.
Just men?
Yeah, you can say men's mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, Jordan Peterson. I need you to tap in for me, Jordan. Yeah, go ahead and get you. Yeah, go ahead and chug it one time. Chug. Come on, tap in. Come on, give me one.
I already had some.
Oh, did you?
Well, way earlier.
But we double up.
My caffeine tolerance is pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
But I never take it all at once. It's like I'll have you can say dose, right?
Yeah.
You have dose in the morning, kind of carry you through, and then like early afternoon, just kind of. But
okay, I do feel that. I heard you're supposed to stop taking caffeine at 12. Because
the half-life.
Yep.
You know those things that you know, as much as you try to be a certain, there's just we all have a vice.
Yours is caffeine?
Yeah.
Shut up, for real? Like how many milligrams you're saying a day?
Just about 400.
That's not bad, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually normal.
But it feels bad when, like, for example, right? I get up early. Let's say I'm going to work.
Yeah.
First thing I do is hit up the QT.
Ah, okay.
You're there. You're just like in line. You're just like, I really wish I didn't have to do this every day. Because, bro, it adds up. Think about it. $3 a day.
Yeah.
30 days a month. That's $90 to $100 on just energy drinks.
Unless you got the sponsorship by C4 Energy, which you have right now. Use code CJ Moss at the checkout to save yourself about 20% off at C4.com. Again, use code CJ Moss to save yourself a couple dollars. My brother just said $100 on energy drinks. You could do it for $80. Anyways.
Yeah, that was a good segue. Yep.
No, for real.
Bro.
Just rob the show.
Hit the stop.
You know what I don't like, though? I don't like being on your left. I'm sorry, your right.
Why is that?
I like being on that side because of this right here.
Yeah, this obstruction.
Like
Probably. No,
What's good, y'all? It's CJ Moss, the official host of the Free Game Podcast, where we give you free game for this game called life through interviews, stories, and experiences. Because I can't lie to y'all, life can be hard and challenging without the proper information and wisdom. So we're going to have on entrepreneurs, athletes, business owners, experts of all fields, social media influencers, and just flat out great people with amazing stories. So tap in with us every Friday at 11 a.m. to get yourself some free game. Let's get it. What's good, y'all? It's CJ Moss, the official host of the Free Game Podcast, where we give you free game for this game called life through interviews, stories, and experiences. Because I can't lie to y'all, life can be hard and challenging without the proper information and wisdom. So we're going to have on entrepreneurs, athletes, business owners, experts of all fields, social media influencers, and just flat out great people with amazing stories. So tap in with us every Friday at 11 a.m. to get yourself some free game. Let's get it.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Free Game Podcast, where we give you free game for this game called life. I'm your host, CJ Moss, and today we're talking all things manhood and men's mental health. And joining me to talk about this, let's just say taboo topic, is my brother from another mother. I'm not going to give you all of his credentials because this dude just flat out, he's just a dog. Like, he's just a man. Like, when it comes to, like, thinking of, like, a man's man, like, gesture, just brute, just nasty, just like get it done type of mentality. That's this dude right here next to me, my brother from another mother, like I said, Jose Salcedo. Big brother, you know I appreciate you coming out and visiting us, bro. How you feeling, baby? Talk to us, bro.
Just happy to be here, man.
Bless, bro.
It's finally here. We've talked about this for a while, and it's kind of surreal to just kind of see, this all transpire and become what it is. So you're 5 episodes in.
5. Episode 5, y'all. No,
Episode.
thank y'all for supporting us all the way up until this point and past this point. But we are at episode 5 right now, and studies show that all podcasts stop after episode 7. And then I want to say, 90% of those people that continue to go after episode 7, 10% of them, they stop after episode 22. So if we get to episode 23 and episode 8, we are technically a historic figure in the podcast world, bro.
The statistic. There you go.
Bro, I'm excited, bro. Now talk to me, dog, because you was a little nervous. Now the people really want to know, because I got a couple questions for you. But the people really want to know, on the cover art that I put on the Instagram, the Free Game Podcast Instagram page, follow us at the Free Game Podcast Instagram page, I put that picture of you at an event in Mexico.
Yes.
Now you have to tell the people, because a lot of the viewers, they don't speak Spanish. They darn sure don't read Spanish. So you got to tell us, what were you doing and where were you at, bro?
So what that event was, it was a public speaking, I guess, like a coaching seminar. It was a 3-day event held by, his name is Dr. Cesar Lozano. And kind of what he is, if you look him up, I'm pretty sure you'll see extensive information. He's really huge in the Latin America, personal development scene. So the way that event came about was, me pretty well.
Yeah.
How do I put this? I like to put myself in
uncomfortable
situations.
Say it loud. You like to do what?
Put myself in uncomfortable situations just because, I feel like that's the only way to grow. Mm-hmm. And me on a personal level, I am all about, having deep conversations.
Meaningful.
But my whole thing is more on a one-on-one. You catch me one-on-one. If it's more like an intimate situation, I can go on and on.
Okay.
And one of the things that I proposed to myself last year was, in a sense, kind of putting myself out there a little bit more. And that opportunity came to me through a really good friend of mine. His name is Eric Gonzalez. And one of those things is, I guess the way it all happened was, Eric Gonzalez actually does public.
Does he really?
He does public
speaking. Is he
speaking.
here locally?
He is, yeah. He's from DFW. He's actually an old friend of mine from neighborhood we grew up in.
Shout out to Eric Gonzalez. What's up, big bro?
Shout out, bro. And I'm here. So, but so the way that happened was actually last year. Eric, he does public speaking.
Yeah.
More so, specifically focused for a contracting group called Latinos in Roofing, which is the roofing industry. It's a whole other conversation.
Latinos in roofing. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. All that to say is, I watched him a few times, and actually last year about 3 or 4 times, and I really admired his ability just to command an audience, speak in front of people, and just kind of relay your message to a group, right?
Delivery.
And the way it happened was, I think one day I was actually at the gym. I had this crazy idea. I just had this impulse to just reach out to him. It's about 7:30 in the morning. I'm actually in between sets.
Yeah.
I get this idea, and I'm like, hey, I text him. I was like, hey, brother, good morning. He hits me back, and I just kind of laid it on him. I was like, hey, just wanted to see if you could help me with, kind of learning what it is that you do with public speaking and all that good stuff. So we had a little bit of a text exchange. He sent me, I believe, 5 books that I should read.
Okay.
Bought the books on the spot.
Do you know those 5 books? Do you remember the 5 books?
Not exactly all the names, but it was around public speaking and all that good stuff. So to be quite honest, I got through half of one.
Yeah.
Because the opportunity came very quickly where I bought the books and we kind of left it there. About a week or so later, he hits me up. He's like, hey, bro, I'm attending this event. I want you to go with me. Who does that remind you of, right? You tell somebody you want to do something.
And you just go.
And the opportunity's thrown upon you. So I just remember looking at that text, and I sat on it, and I was thinking of every reason not to go, right? Because, again, uncomfortable situations, you don't want to do it, but then you just got to trust that you are exactly where you need to be, doing what you need to do, right?
Yeah, talk that talk.
So with that being said, I took him on the opportunity. It was in Guadalajara.
Mexico.
In Mexico,
really?
Which is actually in my home state of Jalisco, where my family is from.
Shout out to the family.
So I was comfortable going to Mexico, just not to that specific environment that I found myself in, right? So to put a long story short, we go to the event, and just remember it was a pretty eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
When I tell you, I have a funny story, right? Right before the first day, I'm in the hotel, just kind of in my head.
Yeah.
Kind of, nervous and whatnot.
So you're in Mexico. Hold on, I'm sorry. You're in Mexico already.
So I'm in Mexico.
So you committed to the commitment already.
Yeah, but the thing
you got
is,
the flight passport, all of that
well, I
stuff.
skipped all those steps, right? So let's backtrack. You know how I am. So when he I guess presented me with the opportunity,
Yeah.
you know, I sat on it for a little bit and I was like, well, let's just run it.
Yeah.
So on the spot, I booked the ticket, booked the flight, booked the hotel,
On the
and just
spot.
said, let's just make it happen, right?
Yeah, no time wasted.
So to get to the point where, you know, yeah, man, it was just an experience, right? Because when I get there, I remember, you know, showing up to the spot. It was in a really nice hotel,
Yeah.
all this good stuff. I opened the elevator door into the main room where the event was going to be held.
Okay.
And it's filled with all these people.
Yes.
First person I see is actually this famous Mexican soap opera actor
Who that?
that, dude, the name escapes me.
You don't know? Okay.
But let's just say, you know, I recognize him because, of course, growing up, you know, for all my Hispanics out there, you know, it's the novelas every
Novelas.
every
Oh my
evening from
God,
about 6
bro.
p.m. till the news comes on, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is that why a lot of Hispanic women are like
dramatic?
They're dramatic. Is
Yes.
that why? No, Hispanic women. Please listen to me. Is that the right thing? Latina? Like
I wouldn't
don't
say-
like generalize like all of the.
I wouldn't say it's just that. I mean, it's a culmination of many factors, right?
Yeah.
Because each woman's an individual.
Fair.
But I
Yes.
would say it's possibly influence because,
influence.
you know, if you're watching late night drama every single
Yes.
day, I mean,
You want to embody that drama into your life, so you almost become that character that you're watching on TV.
you could say, yeah. So I don't want to generalize, right?
Anyway, okay, go for it.
But-
Go for it.
All that to say, you know, there was a lot of, obviously there was like, you could say in that world, an A-list, you know, soap opera
Yes.
actor, all these like high-end, you know, people in that scene.
Yeah.
And here I am, just a dude from Fort Worth, Texas. In my head, right?
Yeah.
It was like, what the hell am I doing
Yeah.
here? What's going on, right?
A whole nother country.
So it was a great experience. What I took from it was, hey, the opportunities present themselves. Just throw yourself at them, and then you don't know what is going to transpire.
Okay.
A perfect example is me sitting here on this podcast.
Bingo.
Right? I mean, look at it. So
Bingo.
I guess that's the main thing that I could share is like, you know, you have these, you could say, ideas.
Yes.
Act on them. You
Yeah.
never know what's going to come of it.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet, who you're
Yeah.
going to encounter. A very set piece of conversations that you could have.
Yeah.
That could change the transgression of your life,
Yeah.
really. So, not to say I'm going to be a podcaster, not to say I'm going to be a public speaker,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
here I am, just kind of sharing my story and just
Okay.
kind of telling people who I am. So,
Now, to the men out there, bro, because you said that essentially you tried to disqualify yourself. Whenever Eric Gonzalez, he presented you with the opportunity. So somebody's presented you with an opportunity, and you immediately, without even thinking about what could go right, you immediately started to disqualify yourself. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I'm not a speaker. I'm too tall. I'm too Mexican. I'm too whatever, bro.
Yep.
Why? Please tell me why. Because there's men out there,
Yep.
they're doing the same thing that you're doing.
oh yeah,
They're doing the
I
same
know
thing
it.
that you just did, but the result isn't the same. They disqualify themselves and they say, maybe next time. They disqualify themselves and be like, well, it's because my wife said that
You get in your own head.
Right.
Yep.
So you were in your own head, though. And these men are too. But why did you decide to go forward and not go backwards?
I would say I have this I guess belief, right? Is
Yeah.
you're always exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn to go to where you're supposed to go.
Okay.
So with that, it's when those opportunities come, it could be something like an invitation somewhere.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, one of your buddies trying to put you on to something that he learned. You don't know what's going to come of it. And the way that I see it personally is God is always going to put you
Every
where
time.
you need to be.
Every time.
He's going to bring the people that need to come into your life to
Yeah.
tell you what you need to learn to get you to where
You need to be.
Exactly. So I guess the key there is to be open to that.
Okay.
Is to, you know, do the things that you need to do within your own life to build your own self-identity. Build your own self-image,
Okay.
self-esteem.
Belief, self-esteem.
Do the things in your life so that you build your own inner confidence so
Okay.
that when these opportunities come, you feel like you are worthy. You feel like, hey, this is my next move. This is
Okay.
my next play. Because how many times have you not overthought something and convinced
Oof.
yourself not to do it?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Just before this podcast, if I could be honest.
Yes.
You know, obviously, get my run in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to think about this whole event.
What we're doing
But
right now.
I had a key conversation before here. I'm just trying not to get in my head.
Okay.
Because as soon as you do, and this goes it's for all people, not just specifically the man. The more you self-sabotage, the more you get in your head, the more you convince yourself not to do those things, you're only causing yourself more harm.
Yes.
You're only causing yourself more pain. And that relationship with yourself is only going to suffer. So what I feel is just take the opportunities, as scary as they may be, put yourself out there. I mean, if I could be an example, right? I never thought I'd be on a podcast. Here I am.
Yes.
Whether 5 people watch this, 50,
Yes.
500, 5,000,
Yeah.
I could care less.
Don't
I'm
matter.
doing what
We're
I
here.
need to do.
Now, this mentality that you have, bro, you didn't always have this mentality. Now, you've grown.
Of
I've known
course.
you for many years now.
Yep.
The man that I met in 2018,
18,
and this is not the same man I'm looking at right now, bro. So I want to know what day, what time, what moment. We want to know, like the audience, the people want to know, because they're looking at almost a finished product, and you're thinking that, hey, this dude's a dog. He's going to Mexico. He's speaking. He's taking every opportunity. Like, I don't even have people like that in my life to text me that, hey, do you want to go to Mexico? They're disqualifying themselves from connecting with you as a person right now because of what you just said. And I want you to take them back to where you started at. Like the hometown you grew up in, the environment you grew up in, that if you were to look at where you came from to where you are now, it don't even make sense.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense. And I want you to take the people that's lost, because they don't believe. They don't believe that they can get to where they want to be. They think that their goal is so far-fetched. They think it's 15 years from now, and really it's just 3 months away. It's 3 months away,
Okay.
but you disqualify yourself like you did, but you still went ahead and did what you felt that God has called you to do.
Okay, so I would say by no means am I a finished product. Let me preface with that.
Okay.
I'm still, not an example of anything. I like to view myself as just a regular dude on his life path.
Yes.
What I like to do, though, is just kind of share, what I've learned, because I feel like you are obligated to share those things with
Yes.
those people along your path. So I guess the thing that changed for me is obviously I grew up, not too far from here. I mean, we're in DFW. I grew up in Fort Worth.
Shout out to Funky Town.
Specifically in an area called Forest Hill.
Okay.
Actually not originally from Forest Hill. I actually grew up until I was, I believe, 7 years old in the Poly neighborhood. At a certain point, we moved, kind of changed environments, and that's kind of, my stomping grounds. And, I had a good childhood, Mom and dad, everything was there. We're first generation, so
Okay.
a lot of it
Yep.
is just us kind of figuring out this country as a unit. And I have nothing, I guess negative to say about my upbringing in that regards, because my parents did everything they could to position me in a better position than they had growing up.
Okay.
And for that, I'm extremely thankful,
Grateful.
because through their hard work and sacrifices, I was given the opportunity to be born in a country like this where you could literally make whatever you want out of yourself.
Do whatever you want. Yes.
So I would say for those feeling lost, what helped me the most was to quickly identify that ultimate vision of yourself. And if I could trace anything down, is ever since I was younger, I always had this kind of moral compass that kept me away from the wrong things. Because the influences exist regardless of environment. You
Yes.
could be growing up in the hood, you could be growing up in
South Lake.
South Lake, wherever it is.
Yes.
The things exist no matter where you are. You have the freedom of choice to choose whether you want to partake in those situations or not.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say I'm a saint. I mean, I've tried just about everything in youth. I've done the whole partying. I've, didn't experiment with any hard drugs or anything like that. Just the casual, the normal stuff.
The normal drugs.
if that's a thing. But I've participated in just about everything.
Every indulgence that you can.
Yes, but I've always had this thing about me that I always knew right from wrong, and I had this, in a sense, of vision or the sense of responsibility within myself to hold myself to a higher standard and not participate in those things that could eventually lead to my demise, right? So I had that from a very young age. I'd be at the parties, young, and I'd always be quick to, I was, in a sense, like the one that I would stop earlier.
Got it.
Or not always. I've had my situations, but anytime I find myself in those, I guess, end results, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'd always, had this thing inside me that was like, maybe I shouldn't do that, because
That little voice in your
a
head.
little voice in my head. And to give you
Context.
some context, I'm the only son, right? I have
Beautiful.
Four beautiful sisters. I love them to death. And I'm the second oldest, but I'm the only male within my sibling group. So I always felt like, it was up to me to kind of hold a sense of a standard.
Yeah.
And view myself in such a way that, I did not want to disappoint my parents, but also I wanted to be a good example to my sisters.
Okay.
So with that being said, that's used, from a young age what kind of kept me away from certain things. And we're blessed to be in a social media age, right?
Praise God.
Specifically like our generation, I remember times without phones. I remember the first smartphones and when they got really
Nokia.
smart. Once, Instagram, all that stuff started popping off. And at first it was just pictures and whatnot. Before you know it, you have content creators and what I like to say, online mentors that come about.
Yes.
So I quickly gravitated towards that side of
self-development. Okay.
And I kind of started, you could say, my self-development journey at about 20, like officially, when I picked up books and started realizing there was so much game out there that was free.
What?
Funny, right? That I kind of went down that rabbit hole really quickly, and I became what you'd call a personal development junkie.
Aha.
And I just kind of dove into everything. I bought all the books. Watched all the YouTube content creators, you can name them. I probably watched
every single one of them.
During different phases of my life in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
And the interesting with that is, it's all out there, and you could, in a sense, kind of mold yourself,
your personality
according to
what you watch. Like we just said, the novellas. Like you become the character that you're watching on the novella.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
So I guess you could say the key to me, or I guess to my path, has been just seeking, whether it's online mentors or gravitating towards people or other men who were better at certain things than me. And with that being said is, putting my ego to the side and not just gravitating from a leech perspective, more finding those people, finding my role within their life, fulfilling my role to the fullest of my capability, providing as much value as I can. Whether it's, providing a service, whether it's, being the one friend that they could always talk to whenever they're going through something.
Yes.
I have countless examples with multiple, you could say men in my past where I like to form just a brotherhood.
Yes.
Right? Like I got you, you got me.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you need from me, bro, I got you.
Got you.
Vice versa.
Amazing.
And with that, throughout my path, I've been able to just, pick up on a lot of information. I've been able to, position myself in certain rooms that, I never would have thought I'd be in. And I think that's been it. It's just seeking those mentors online to get ideas, but also to act on those ideas. It's pointless to just
receive information. Information gatherer.
Read all the books. And, I've been there, done that. And there was a point in my life where, I was consuming everything, but nothing was changing.
Nothing.
Of course, not much was being actually applied.
No implementation.
World. Exactly. So, seek those mentors, whether it's online, in person. Those people that you admire. Find ways to get close to them. Find ways to provide value. Because
now,
you
let me pause you because you talked about brotherhood, and you want togetherness of brotherhood. Now, you've described who you are to your brothers. Do you have a you in your life, a dude that's just like essentially you, like everything that you are, but maybe not directly exact. Like he's not 6'6" Hispanic man, but in terms of the character, if you,
I carry myself like it, but I'm
this
not.
dude taller than me, y'all. He's the first guest on this show that's taller than me, bro. But anyways, in terms of the brotherhood, do you have a brother or a set of brothers or a group of men that you have a personal relationship with? Like you can actually call them, text them, and be like, "Hey, I'm struggling.
Yes.
Hey, I'm going through something.
Yes.
Hey, I feel like I'm about to withdraw right now.
Yes.
Like shorty making me mad. The alcohol is looking good right now. I've been sober for 3 months. Do you have a dude?
8 months.
8 months. My bad. You are sober from alcohol for 8 months?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, since January 1st, and plan on keeping it going. So
really?
It's been the best so far. If I could prematurely speak, it's been the best thing I've done so far.
Wait, so you were an active alcohol drinker?
I wasn't an alcoholic, but you're casual. Friday, maybe.
Okay.
Or you go out to eat.
Yeah.
You get the beer with the food.
Yeah.
Type stuff. So
yes.
You could say you're quote unquote normal drinker if that's a thing.
Normal drinker.
Yeah, I wasn't alcoholic. I wasn't, I didn't have any issues or deep rooted issues with
Yeah.
alcohol. Even though, there's a lineage of alcoholic problems within my family.
Really?
Never really was a big issue for me, but, it's kind of one of those things I decided to, commit to at the
Yes.
beginning of the year.
Yep.
And so far, it's just been going good. So
Now, there's a man out there right now. He's just heard that. He's like, man, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be like this dude right here. I don't even know the dude, but the dude with the glasses right there, yeah, I want to be sober from alcohol too. But he just can't. My children stressing me out, bro. I just got to have a Bud Light after work. I work in construction. It's 115 degrees in Texas
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
I need my alcohol. What do you tell that dude?
oh man, that's
What do you tell him?
That's a tough topic to touch, and I say that because everybody's situation is unique.
Of course.
So, of course, I can only speak on what
Personal experience.
personal experience, but also what I, personally do to keep myself.
But you can talk secondary experience as well.
Yeah.
Because you've seen, like you said, you have
Yep.
a lineage of alcoholics.
Yep.
So you can talk about secondary experiences and what you've seen alcohol do to your family, which led you, I'm assuming, to want to start not drinking January 1st.
So, I guess you could say this. It's been like a progressive journey, but specifically this year, right? My commitment, because it's funny. Last year, I had made the same commitment.
Yeah.
But I had said, because my birthday is middle of June.
Got it?
It's almost at the exact middle of the year. So last year, made the commitment. Obviously, you know me. I was doing 75 hard.
75 hard.
It's part
we'll
of
get
the
into that next.
It's part of the process, so it made it easy, right?
Okay.
So my commitment was, all right, I'm going to finish 75, regardless of how many times it takes.
Attempts it takes.
Right, because you know me, of
Yes.
course. But
Now, for those that don't know 75 hard, let me stop you. 75 hard. Go.
I'm pretty sure by now most people know. It's
No,
been
they
all over,
don't.
It's
They
been all
don't.
over
Not
social
everybody's
media.
in the fitness
So
industry. Not everybody.
what 75 hard is, if I could,
Make it black and white.
make it super simple, it's a mental toughness program, right? Some people say it's a challenge. It's not necessarily a challenge because it's been kind of watered down through TikTok and whatnot. So what it is, it's just 5 tasks that you have to commit to
For 75 straight days.
for 75 straight days.
Okay.
And those 5 tasks are: you have to drink a gallon of water a day,
Every day a gallon.
every day a gallon, not almost a gallon,
Every day a gallon.
128 ounces,
128
regardless
ounces.
whether you're 6'3" or 5'2". It's a gallon
1
of
gallon
water.
a day, no matter your size or stature.
Yes,
Height
you
or
have
weight. Okay.
Two committed workouts, 45 minutes, one indoor, one outdoor.
So that's 2 workouts in a day.
Yes,
45 minutes apiece.
45 minutes apiece. But the key point is they have to be at least 3 hours apart. So they need to be separate portions of the day.
Okay.
So that you have to do that 10 pages of personal development. You can't read a novel. You can't do audiobooks. It needs
Okay.
to be 10 committed pages of whatever personal development book that you choose. You have to take a picture every day. Selfie in the mirror.
Selfie in the mirror.
shirtless.
Shirtless.
Whether you love what you see or you hate it, you have to take a
Really?
picture.
Yep.
And let's see, and also no alcohol, of course.
There's no alcohol in the challenge?
None.
I thought it was a diet. I'm familiar with the 75 hard.
Well, that's the
But
thing.
like you said, it's watered down.
It's been
so what's
watered
like
down.
the actual Andy Frisella
Yes.
version of 75 hard?
So it's no alcohol.
No
you
alcohol.
also have to commit to a diet. So the diet is where a lot of people, it's open for interpretation.
Okay.
You pick a diet, a modality of eating, and you stick to it. No cheat meals, no free meals, none of that stuff.
Aha.
So you have to be, in a sense, pretty rigid with your choice of diet. So what the program is about, it's just 75 days straight. If you miss something, you have to start over.
Ooh.
And that is, of course, a whole conversation on its own. But
Ooh.
to bring it back to the reason
Started,
I
yes.
started was, I like to do that at the beginning of the year. It kind of helps me
Kick off the year.
kind of give me a good framework to start the year, because how you start the year, everybody's on the grind mindset.
Of course. No
Everybody's
accountability.
new
no-
person, new me, all
Of
that
course.
stuff. It happens every year.
New year, new me.
Yeah, so, I participate with that, and of course, I start 75 hard. So last year, I made that commitment, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to my birthday.
Yes.
Halfway through the year, you know what, I'll have a beer on my birthday. How about that? Boom. So get it done, go through 75, finish it, and then I found myself, first, if not the first, like within the first few opportunities to drink, I found myself with the beer in my hand.
Really?
And then you start the whole justification. Oh, it's just one beer. Oh, I worked
Oh
hard.
no, not the justification.
It's been hot. Blah blah blah. They're all out there.
Feeling the excuse
Which
here.
there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, again, as long as it's not destructive, society says what alcohol
okay.
it's a normal thing.
It's fair.
You know what I mean? These could be substituted with a glass of wine, and
I
it'd be
see what you're
a
saying.
classy thing,
I
right?
see what you're saying. Everybody has
So-
a vice.
Exactly. So there's nothing wrong with it. I never want to like demonize anybody for making those choices.
Right.
Right. It's your life. You have the freedom to.
You're
do
grown.
what
You
you
pay
want.
all your bills. Do what you want to do.
Exactly. Right. So let's preface with that.
Yeah.
But for me, I found that I would always grab on to those quick justifications, and those I feel like are your ultimate demise, right? Because when you have this vision of who you want to be, of this ultimate person, this ultimate you,
Who you want to become?
you know who that person is, what they do, how they dress, how they look, everything about their lifestyle.
Yes.
Right? So for me, I have this vision. And that vision of me was not a man, it was a man who had self-control, who had willpower, and who was able to do what he wanted to do when he chose to do it, not when a circumstance made him or, he gave in to just a quick little temptation
Yes.
and whatnot. So, in a sense,
Self-control.
I justified, okay, cool, what's a beer?
What's one beer?
Before you know it, I went the whole year back in that cycle.
Drinking every day.
Yes.
Very frequently.
Not every day, but just on the weekends. Boom,
Drinking.
boom. Yeah. And again, I have found nothing wrong with it. And society
Technically,
says,
yes.
right?
It wasn't nothing wrong with it.
Nothing
Bills
wrong
were
with
still
it.
getting paid.
Everything.
Home was still good.
Everything was good, but that conversation with myself, it's like deep down, you look in the mirror.
Yes.
I've had many of times in my life where I'm not happy with who I see in the mirror,
Who you see in the mirror.
right? Because only you know.
And that mirror never lies, huh?
Only you know what you do, what you're doing, or what
Yes.
you're not doing, and everything that nobody else sees.
Yes.
So with that, it's back to the drinking that happened. Fast forward, beginning of this year, made that commitment again. Started 75 hard, and it took me, dude. I started January 1st.
Yep.
I didn't officially complete 75 hard
Yep.
until July 2nd.
July 2nd. So that's what, 7 months, huh?
6-7 months.
It's
yeah.
supposed to be like a 2.5 month challenge, and it took you 7 months to
Yes.
finish it.
Well,
So
that's
technically, it means you failed 3 times, retried 3 times.
yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
On multiple occasions. I can't tell you exactly the dates because it's all, blur right now. But, I started the first attempt. Everything was going good.
Smooth.
And I messed up by, I think I missed my gallon by like 5 or 6 ounces. And it was like a technicality because I obviously, you either buy the gallon, right?
Yes,
Or you do the whole water bottles or the refillable bottles.
Yes.
So I don't like to carry a gallon jug with me because I feel like it's an inconvenience.
Yes.
So I do the whole smaller bottles. But I have an app where I track
How
my
many ounces
intake.
you have inside of you? Okay.
So I did something. It was like kind of later in the day. I kind of butchered my input, and then I saw that I hit the mark. Go to sleep, not thinking anything of it. Wake up the next day with that little thing in the back of my mind, like, did I finish
that
yesterday?
voice.
So I went back, did my calculations, and realized I was short 5 or 6 ounces. Now, it's only 5 or 6 ounces, and it's crazy because I told people this, and they're like, "Oh, well, I would have just said I drank the gallon," which is
You would have
easy.
said.
Well, the thing is, it's easy to do that, but how many times don't we do that in our normal life?
Every day.
It's just a cookie, or nothing, right?
Every-
It's just an extra episode of Netflix. What's
Yes.
30 more minutes? Or
Yes.
it's just
$20 extra on the slot machine.
yeah, I'm just missing one workout. That's fine. Okay, cool. That's fine. But once you get into that trap of justifying those things that go against who you said you wanted to be,
Yes.
your relationship with yourself starts to suffer. So I identified that I found myself in that situation. I started over.
Yes.
I was like, I can't. If I'm lying to myself, everything from here is just a lie.
So then the justification is the enemy to self-control.
Yes.
Because there's men out there, they have issues, mental, like anxiety, depression, pornography addictions, alcohol addictions, video game addictions, gambling addictions. They all have these addictions, food addictions even. Like
Yeah.
some dude, like they gut hanging over the belt, boy. And again, whatever, but we all know that the gut ain't healthy.
Yep.
We know that having a protruding stomach is not, we know that alcohol is just poison to the system. We know the facts of the matter, if you will. But the reason why these men do that is because they justify the wrongdoings. And when you justify the wrongdoings, that means you know what you're supposed to be doing to begin with then.
Yes.
And you're constantly making a choice that, hey, this justification is more important than my self-control.
Mm-hmm.
This beer is better than being sober for 8 months.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I think with most things, right, the beer, the food, all these things, life is stressful, right? Right, but let me say this.
Okay, yes.
Life is stressful.
Yes.
We all go through our ups and downs. You know, nobody's immune to life's challenges.
Amen.
Regardless
Amen.
of where your social status is or anything, you always go through things. We need coping mechanisms, which for a lot of people, right, myself included, this is why I'm as rigid as I am with myself, because I know I love to drink.
Okay. You know your vice then.
I love to eat, bro. Like,
okay.
If I had my way, I'd probably be about cool 270.
Easy.
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 But I know that side of myself, so I like rigorously try to control that side. I try to put that person to the side because it's not in alignment with who I
want to be.
Vision to be.
So it sounds like you have like two people in your brain. Mm-hmm. And like when you wake up in the morning, it sounds like you have the good Salcedo and then the bad Salcedo.
Yep.
And they're constantly battling each other every single moment.
Every day.
Every single thought, every single thing that you do, it's like good Salcedo, bad the demon and the angel type of thing.
We all have it.
Yes.
We all have it.
But for the longest, you listened to the demon side, Salcedo. And then now you're listening to the angel side. Now, they always been there, though. Your entire life, they've always been there. Why now have you decided to turn my ear to the angel instead of the devil? Because the devil's is easier. It's easy to drink. It's easy to eat. It's easy to eat crap. It's easy to watch porn. It's easy to go gamble, go to the casino. Those things are easy. So why? Why now? Not you in your specific situation, but why now in terms of men? Why does something have to happen for you to be like, all right, let's lock in? Why does somebody have to die for you to be like, I'm gonna get my diet together?
Yep.
Why does somebody have to tell you that you ugly, you fat, you broke, I'll take your wife from you for you to be like, hey, bro, all right, bet, cool, I'm gonna lock in. Essentially, knowing what you're supposed to do, but still selling yourself short by the justifications, which is the enemy to self-control.
If I tell you that the stove is hot, not to touch it, most people do what? They ignore it.
Fair.
Until you feel the pain associated with the consequences of your choices, a lot of times you're not going to change. You have to have either directly felt the pain or have seen somebody suffer the consequences of their decisions for you to make that realization. Shoot. And that's why it's best to do the secondhand, to learn from secondhand experiences.
Shoot, yes.
To avoid falling to those
pitfalls.
You could say pitfalls, right? So if you want to touch on like the alcohol situation, of course, to touch on, you could say the issues
associated with it.
I have real-hand experience with alcoholism in multiple examples of people who I know, whether it's friends, family, as close to my own personal home that I grew up in.
Yes.
So, not to put anybody in any bad light, but, my father to this day struggles with certain things. And through seeing, how much it affected him as a person, right? Because you're two different people.
Yes.
Sober you is one person. Drunk you is another person.
Under an influence.
Yes.
Substance. Yep.
Or any type of substance, right? So when you're constantly facing that battle and going to the point where you're using something to pacify, whether it's any substance, once you get to the point where you're addicted, now you have a real problem.
A huge problem.
Because it's not just going to affect you, it's going to affect everybody that associates with you in any shape or form because they're dealing with a different version of you, right?
Oh, yes, so right there. Stay right there.
With that, it's, understanding, for me, firsthand experiencing the pain of what alcoholism could do to a person, but, of course, a family, how it affected me. I have a very graphic experience. I have an uncle of mine, actually.
Yes.
It's kind of an interesting scenario. An uncle of mine, he passed away when he was 39. And growing up, I was always compared to him because I looked a lot like him. Like, you could see me and my family. We're not a family that kind of resembles each other.
Really?
We don't really look alike or anything like that. But I looked a lot like this uncle. And I had a lot of his mannerisms. So they used to call me, his name was Juan.
Juan.
They call me Juanito.
Juanito.
Right? So with that, it's, he passed away when I was 10, so I didn't really get to know him. So I knew
yes.
of him, and obviously he was always around. He's a great person. He fell into a very dark trap of, addiction. He messed with, from what I know, again, I may not know all the facts. I was a kid. Alcohol was for sure there. There was possibly other substances, and it just ruined his life to the point where, my last experience of him was when he fell to my feet dead from a heart attack. Not saying it was directly the alcohol, but the mix of whatever it is that he was putting in his body, to the point where I think it happened in Mexico. I recall the experience, and he fell, to save all the details, he just fell to my feet dead, right? And that I haven't really, those memories you kind of put in the back of your mind. That was a really painful experience for me to have an experience that at such a young age. It obviously hurt the family. It, caused, you could say a ripple effect. It affected many lives to have lost him, because he was such a key role in a lot of people's life experience. Losing him, it was kind of one of those, like, oh man, like, everybody was devastated. But to really think back, it's like, well, if you're passing away at 39, something had to have led to that. What was it? You fall into those traps, right? I don't know his story. I don't know what he went through or anything like that.
But you know the result.
For me, what I took from that experience was, let me not do that. Okay. To go even further, my grandfather, my father's father, passed away from what I believe was cirrhosis of the liver due to complications with alcohol. So I have real world examples.
Yes.
And through my own experience.
Yes.
Of course, I'm no saint, right? I've had plenty of experiences where I've had situations where, I've driven home from a night out, blackout drunk, not even knowing how I got home.
Wow.
Think of you had Chase here a few weeks ago.
Yes, sir. Shout out Chase Harris.
I heard his story, and it was very compelling, because he had multiple
DUIs
and multiple experiences where, he kind of was getting like these situations where it's like,
hey, wake up.
Multiple chances. But how many people don't go out, get blackout drunk once, they hit somebody, that's it, your life's changed.
Done.
You hit somebody, you kill an innocent mother and her children, or all these things. So those are very extreme
real
examples.
Scenarios, yes, but real scenarios.
It takes one decision or one, scenario where you lack enough willpower to say no to something, your life could change forever, right? So yes, that's very deep and that's very, extreme, but it starts with those justifications.
Okay.
It starts with those, oh, it's just one more. Or, you know what, hey, I know I got to work tomorrow. All the homies, we're out watching the football game. I got to work tomorrow. Maybe I shouldn't drink. Let me just eat. Give me a nice cool little soda or something, or even what they call mocktails. Right. I'm in the environment. I don't need to just do what you're doing, because it's gonna affect how I show up to work tomorrow.
Right.
Nah. What do the boys do? Nah, bro, just
Let's
one.
go just one.
Hey, come on. Or they go as far as calling you up because
so you're 13 in. So now, but let me hold that, bro, because it sounds like, because they're listening out there and they're saying, okay, I justify my wrongdoings. But what I'm hearing you say right now, what the people are hearing right now, is you're also justifying it back to the other way, because you're saying it's just one beer, but then you're also saying, bro, it's one beer. Like, you got to work tomorrow. Like, don't, like, what one beer leads you to. That's a justification mechanism. The same way, bro, it's just one beer. It's just a beer, bro. It's the same justification, two different mechanisms towards the goal. So technically, I would, go for it. Yep.
I'd say this, you're back to the vision, right?
Yes.
Everybody's life path is different. Personally, I, have this vision of who I want to be.
Right.
So in my personal experience, I would just rather not, because I know what it could lead to. I've been there. I've done that. I've gone the whole one beer. And then once you're feeling it, you're in the environment, next thing you know, I'm taking shots straight out the bottle. See what I mean? So I know that about myself, and that's the thing. You need to have gone through those things to know what you are capable of, because you're not immune to it. I'm not going to sit here and position myself as a saint and say, oh, I have the key. I don't.
Yes.
I've done it, and I've lived it, and I've lived the consequences of it, and I do not like who I am when I'm under any substance.
Right.
So I choose to just not participate.
But now you're listening, though. You're listening, and they're saying, Salcedo, it's fun, though. Salcedo is
It's
fun.
a-
Drinking
it's
is
a-
fun.
it's a-
Partying with my girls, my friends, my homies.
a
We're
great
seeing
time.
the shorties. They dancing up on us. Like, we in our 20s, bro. Let us live. You're Hispanic, correct? It's the culture thing.
That-
Everybody got a birthday every weekend.
Think
Every
about
other
it.
weekend.
That right there.
Yes. We just having fun, Salcedo. What's the
What-
problem?
What's more important to you, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's like there's the pleasure of this moment, right? Because it's short lived.
Yes.
You have a great time. You're drinking, boom, boom, boom. You go eat, boom, boom. Next morning, how are you feeling?
Yes.
So
Awful.
so the pleasure of this moment, is it worth not staying true to myself? That's how I see it.
So he's not saying deny yourself of experiences with people.
Yes, of course.
You can still go to the event. You can still go party,
You can
have
still be there.
fun, but you know your vices. You know your weaknesses. Some people have, let's say, sex addictions. They know when they go to the club, they leaving with somebody.
Yep.
Some people have alcohol,
I
like we're
know
talking
'em.
about.
I know 'em all.
Like, I'm going to this club so I can get shit-faced drunk, and then whatever happens, happens type of thing. There's people that have those addictions, and they don't even know that they're an addiction. They tell themselves, hey, I want to change this, but there you are still doing the same things to get you the same results.
Exactly. So with that, it's the way I see it is the beautiful thing about life, right? You have the freedom of choice,
Freedom of choice. Praise God.
cause and effect.
Praise God for the freedom.
If you choose to do one thing knowingly, as a fully coherent adult person, male or female,
Yes.
if you take that choice, you have to be 100% prepared to accept the consequences of that decision that you make, whatever it may be, whether it's the drinking, the eating, or just positioning yourself in certain environments. A key thing for me is I am very quick to tell whether I need to be in an environment for a short time, for a long time. If I feel like this is not serving me in any way, not in a egotistical way or anything like that. If I just
don't feel here,
in
yeah.
my gut that this is something that's serving me, I take myself or exclude myself from that environment or conversation. Not in a rude way. I'm not going to disrespect anybody. I'm still going to
Fall back.
I'm going to finish in a sense, I'm going to be there. I'm not going to, just up and go because I don't feel it. That's just not in my nature. I just know that the next time I get that invitation, I just might not take it. Why? Because that's not serving me and my vision of what I want for my life.
Correct.
And there's nothing wrong with those who are choosing to do the activity.
Right.
It's just not for me, and that's okay. And you have to be okay with that, right?
Okay.
If I offend you by putting myself first, then that's not my problem. That is something that you have to deal with, that you have to, understand that this is my life. I get to choose. I have full autonomy over the choices that I make, the conversations that I participate in, the environments that I choose to frequent. That's all on me. And it's an empowering feeling because it gives you a sense of control over your life. I feel like the issue with a lot of people is you are not able to say, a lot of people have an issue saying no to people. They don't want to disappoint. They don't want to upset somebody. They don't want to have uncomfortable situations or
And the
conversations.
people that do say no, they're looked at as rude.
Yes.
Like, oh, they're rude.
Oh, they're rude. He's an asshole. He thinks he's all that. He changed.
Yes.
You're supposed to. Of course, if you're the same person you were 10 years ago.
I'm sorry.
There's
Sorry for your
submission.
loss of 10 years.
See what I mean? So with that being said, it's, if you have this vision of what you want for your life, reverse engineer that. Learn how to say no to people, and you'll realize that your relationship with yourself improves. Because every time I say yes to me, right?
Yes,
and
to
no
you.
to a substance, a situation, a conversation, or a person, that's a win in my book.
So there's a man out there,
Mm-hmm.
and you're out there listening, and they're agreeing with everything you're saying. Salcedo, you spot on, bro. Like bullseye. But I don't have a vision. I don't have a plan for my life. I don't know what I want. Like my dad told me that I should go work for the government, and my mom told me I should work for Wells Fargo. I really don't rock with neither one of those ideas, but it's kind of like, what else do I have? Like what do I do? Like I feel what you're saying, and I really want to do what you're doing. I don't want to drink no more. I want to party. I want to change my entire friend group. I want something in life, and I know that this version of myself right now is not going to get me there, but I feel stuck. I feel stuck right where I am right now. What do you tell that man that he's feeling stuck? He's not stuck, but he is feeling stuck in his current reality. He got bills. He got a full-time job. He's trying to get back. He's trying. It's not like he's just putting his hands up and be like, okay, God, do your thing. He's trying, but he keeps falling short every single time. What do you say to that man?
you know, it's crazy. I've been that man, and I'm not saying I've overcome that. The biggest thing, in my opinion, would be just change your environment, because as much as, you know, cliche as it sounds, right, you're the outcome of your environment
Oof,
until you decide that that environment's not for you.
not suitable.
So that goes from, by environment, I mean, not just, you can't just up and leave and uproot and just chunk the deuces, right?
Okay.
But you get to choose, as simple as this, right? Like your internal environment. You get to choose your diet. You get to choose your health habits, going to the gym, whether it's running, hooping, anything to keep you active. You get to choose what you're ingesting, everything that goes into your system. You get
That's
to-
not just consuming,
It's
but
not just
what
physical.
I watch.
You get to
what I
control.
hear.
You control what you watch, who you watch, what the music you're listening to. I'm very selective with that
Okay.
as well. I feel like music is programming.
Because it contributes to your mental
It
health.
contributes to your mindset, right? Because if you're listening to, let's just say, not to pick on this specific
Not to bash,
genre,
but yes.
if you're listening to nothing but hard rap all the time, what are you gonna be? You're gonna be a hard dude, right? You're gonna
You think you are, at
well,
least.
in a sense, in your own mind, you're gonna embody that message that you are consuming.
Back to the novella. You
Back
become
to
the
the no-
character
There
you're
you go.
watching. Yes,
There you go.
okay.
So you control that. You control the books you read. You control the friendships that you choose to participate in, the conversations that you have, and all that stuff. And it's a gradual process. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's just a series of decisions that you make, saying yes to that vision of who you are, that eventually leads you down that path. That's what I've experienced. You know, as soon as I decided this is not who I want to be,
Right.
this is who I want to be,
Okay.
I need to make deliberate choices to get me closer to that vision. Things just started to change. I started to, you know, improve myself. I've started to improve, you know, the value that I could give, right? Because friendships, especially once you start kind of, you know, finding
Growing
yourself
and
in different areas, it's not just, oh, I'm going to frequent you because I think you're a cool person. We're busy. There's so
Life happens, of
There's so
course.
much bandwidth that you could have. So when you're interacting with somebody, there's some type of value exchange.
Absolutely.
To give an example, right? Not to relay. Anytime I call you, it could be a 5-minute quick,
Literally.
or we can go on for, because
2 hours.
there's a value exchange,
A mutual
between those
exchange.
conversations. Every time I leave this interaction, I feel like I've learned something, or I helped you in some way.
Aha.
So with that, it's find ways to be of service to people, and eventually you'll find things start to change. So what I could say is, for those that are feeling stuck, because I've been there. I've had, you know, seasons in my life where I just did not know what was going on. I just fell back on the fact that I'm in control of me,
Yes.
what I do, what I say, the decisions that I make. Eventually, I'll find myself back to where I need to be, in a sense.
Okay.
So I guess that's, you know, the advice I could give, right? If it's worth anything,
Right.
it's you are in control.
So then you're saying that you're rugged with yourself.
Yeah.
And you're listening out there and they're like, Salcedo, that doesn't sound fun. Our days are numbered. We only guarantee, according to statistics, the average human being in America is going to die at 75. If I only have 75 years on this earth, well, I'm going to spend it trying to get better and not drinking and partying with my friends and making experiences with my family and watching this show, watching this movie, watching this podcast, gambling that money, watching that football game.
Well,
What? Your life, if I'm listening to your life right now, I would never trade places with you, bro, because you sound like you don't have no fun at all.
that's fine, because, again, it's my own choice.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out and do whatever you want. That's the beautiful thing about life. Freedom of choice, freedom of expression, right? You could do what you want. You could be where you want to go. Just at the end of the day, and I've had this conversation with multiple people, just make sure you can look that man in the mirror, in the eye, and hold it for more than 5 seconds. Because you are going to have consequences for everything that you do or don't do. If you're okay with that, by all means, live your life. I'm not here to hold myself over anybody. Do what you want to do, live how you want to live. Just know that if you continuously lie to yourself, you're going to have to face the consequences, whether it's short term, an immediate feedback, right? You go out, you drink, and you get yourself into a DUI situation, or long term, right?
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So
yes.
it's you can't escape your outcomes in a sense.
Amazing.
So you have the freedom to live how you want to live. It's just if you want more for yourself, then you do have to be a little rigid. Think about anybody who achieves anything, right? You know, a lot
Yes.
of athletes.
Absolutely.
You don't just show up
In the
talented.
NFL, yeah.
Think about it. You know, yeah, you can have raw talent.
Yes.
I mean, we all know the guys in high school who were just talented,
Killed it.
but through whatever situation, life, environment maybe got to them. Maybe they raw talent,
Absolutely.
amazing athlete, possibly, you know, very, very young, got into a situation, got in a fight, beat somebody up, and now he's in jail. Type stuff.
Aha. One of those.
You have freedom of choice. You could.
to step away.
It's your decision, right? So with that, it's just accept your outcomes.
Absolutely.
Accept your outcomes. That's
Okay.
it.
From your
so
actions.
From your actions.
Because
Don't
your actions
force
lead to
it.
your outcomes.
Yes.
So Chase, like cause since we're talking about Chase,
Mm-hmm.
he's an anomaly.
Yes.
Chase is one of those guys that from his small teenage years to who he is now,
Yep.
most people wouldn't have predicted that.
That's an amazing story.
Absolutely.
Because what he's doing now is using his story.
Yes.
His testimony, you could say.
Yes.
To be of what?
Service to his
other
people.
people. To share that message. To be like, hey, you know, I was the lucky one.
Yeah.
Think of the very specific set of circumstances and how he was able to, like, I think, well, he was part of the first group of this new program that allowed for him to, dude, how many people just don't
Yeah.
get that chance?
I feel that.
See what I mean? To
I do
where
feel
he's
that.
at now, dude. I've seen him loosely at the gym. I haven't met him
Yeah,
yet.
okay.
But dude, you see people like that, you're like, man, like that,
He got something.
he got something.
So then where do you divide the line in people that start at Chase Harris and they end at Chase Harris? But there's another man out there watching right now, and he's where Chase Harris was. And he's looking now
And-
at Chase Harris saying, oh, he's just lucky. He just wanted it. Like, they put him in the status of like rappers and NFL, NBA athletes. Like, you're just a select random person that got blessed by God to be where you are right now. They don't look at the hard work. They don't look at him in
course.
jail.
Yep.
They don't look at him essentially letting his father down and his father passing away. And he living with that regret
Yep.
the rest of his life. You chug it up and say you're lucky. But you don't know how he got there. And you got the nerve to say that this man's lucky when you don't know the hell that he went through to get to the version that he is today. When you can get there too, you can get there as a man. You're struggling. Something's going on in your life. You're not happy. You're not satisfied with something. But you look at people like Chase, people like inspiring human being, if you will, in the world. I'm trying to refrain from saying myself right now. I'm not going to lie to you. But you look at Chase Harris and you're like, it's just because he got big muscles. He got tattooed. Pretty privileged. He light skinned with pretty face. Of course he's going to have that. I can never be that. Why is it a spirit of comparison instead of, oh, me too? I could be just like that. I got a drinking addiction. I had 5 DUIs. Chase only had 3. If he can do it, I can do it.
That's a tough one because no man is where he's at by just pure luck,
Fair.
in my opinion. Either they did a lot of work or people behind them did a lot of work to put them in a position, right, that's
Yes.
more advanced than most people. So I don't want to say it's luck because I've known many people who have come out the mud and have just done amazing things with their lives.
Okay.
In my specific scenario, I know people who come from with absolutely nothing, immigrating from Mexico or any other country,
Killing it.
and to this day you see the lives that they've built, and it's just an amazing and inspiring story.
Yes.
So I feel like for anybody who's in a sense resentful of somebody who has done it, they have to look at themselves before they put out and judge somebody else. Because if you're resentful from someone who's out there, quote unquote, killing it or just has reached a certain level of success, if you are seeing that as a negative, you need to address those insecurities within yourself. Because if you think about it, you can't just say someone's life work has just been pure luck.
You can't say that. You
Yes,
cannot.
there are lucky breaks, there are situations,
That occur.
opportunities that come by, but if you're not ready when that opportunity comes by, then you see what I mean?
GGs, yes.
So you can't just, how do I put it, generalize someone's entire life story and say it's just pure luck.
I see.
I don't believe in that. Yes.
Okay.
Some people are born in better situations, better environments. Some people are born with parents who are able to provide them with not a head start, but with information so that they can then, go out and do their
yes.
thing. There's other people who are born with absolutely nothing.
And then they.
But The
Yep.
great equalizer, though, is the individual, because you have people who are given everything, and they go out and they do what? Mess it all up. They go out and they're
Shake
just
it off.
a mess. Then there's those people who come from, you could say, quote unquote, the mud, and go out and just do amazing things with their life. So you can't just generalize someone's whole life, in my opinion, and just say it's pure luck.
Okay.
Ever. Just look in the mirror. Don't focus, and again, don't ever focus on what the next man is doing. What are you doing? What are you doing that is a direct act of self-sabotage in your own life? Address that first before you go out and judge someone else. You see what I mean? That's the thing, is you can't just sit there and just demonize somebody. A lot of times that's just jealousy, that's resentment, that's bitterness, insecurities, right? If I go into a room and if I see a man who's killing it, and with whatever, right? It could be health, fitness, finance. I admire that. Like, I love to see that.
Amazing.
See what I mean? Like,
Amazing.
I purposely position myself, right? I'm no physical specimen myself, but if we could say, like, the gym that I frequent, absolutely competent NRH, dude, there's IFBB. You know them. You've worked on them. IFBB pros. There's all kinds of people. I'm in that gym on purpose. I look over. I see dude killing it. All right, bro. I mean, I'm not there, but I'm here with you.
Let's go.
You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to go in that gym and be like, bro, I ain't going there because none but, whatever in there. No, I'm going to put myself in that environment. I'm going to go and, expose myself to those things so that I could, like, see it. I'd say touch, actually, but, like,
see it, yes.
Close enough to touch, right? Close enough to where I feel inspired and I feel like, yes, that's you. That's your final outcome up to this point. That doesn't mean I can't have a version of that
Yes.
for myself.
Shoot for the moon.
You see
and
what I
then
mean?
land amongst the stars.
And that
type
goes
of-
back to your environment. You get to choose your environment, but also be mindful of the mindset you're taking into that environment. Because if you're filled with hatred, if you're filled with just all this negativity, you can go into an environment and just say, man, he lucky. Or, oh, that's daddy's money. I hate that. Oh, it's daddy's money. Or boom, boom, boom. It might be. But why not? Why isolate that and not look at, man, you know what? I want to be in the position one day so that I could do that for my son, type of stuff, right? So it's all in how you position it, but I just can't stand when somebody just sees somebody and they just want to discredit them for whatever reason. So it all falls back on you. That's just how I see it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It's that, and I always say this, you're always exactly where you need to be, and where you are in life is
Yes.
exactly where you deserve to be. That's your choice.
Now, in closing, big bro, as we always end this show, y'all, you got to give us one piece of free game that you've received that you want to give and deliver to the people out there. One piece of free game.
To bring this back, to bring this person back, my good buddy Eric, he has this thing, and first time I heard him say it, I think I've heard it said before. It's your level of success will never surpass your level of personal development. So if I could say anything, it's just eliminate the noise from your life, hone in on yourself, be brutally honest with yourself, look at yourself for everything that you are, but also everything that you're not, and learn to be okay with that. Learn to be okay with this current version of you. And learn to, specifically if we're talking to men, learn to look at that man and say, you're not where you want to be, and that's okay. Not saying it's okay, but you have to say, and then just focus on the very next thing that you can control. And then from there, it's a series of events, and you're gonna mess up. You're gonna fall. You're gonna have your hiccups. You're gonna have scenarios where you're like, damn it, like I know I shouldn't have done that. Get right back on the horse, because the more you do that, you're gonna find that you're gonna start catching momentum. Before you know it, you're gonna be in completely different environments.
Wow.
Doing things like hopping on a podcast with your buddy who you met 5 years ago.
Yes.
On a random, right? So it's that. So focus on what you can control. Be honest with yourself. The worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. And that's it, man. That's all I could say, I guess.
Man, y'all, this is Jose Salcedo, episode 5 of the Free Game Podcast, big bro. We appreciate you coming out and blessing us with your free piece of free game on the Free Game Podcast. Next week, my personal favorite guest, my father, Wilfred Moss, will be joining us on episode 6 of the Free Game Podcast. Any last words for us, big brother?
That's it, man. I said what I had to say.
You ain't got nothing left?
That's it.
You empty the bucket?
You know that's not ever a thing. But
We'll see
We'll be back.
you next week. Let's
What's
get it.
good, y'all? It's CJ Moss, the official host of the Free Game Podcast, where we give you free game for this game called life through interviews, stories, and experiences. Because I can't lie to y'all, life can be hard and challenging without the proper information and wisdom. So we're going to have on entrepreneurs, athletes, business owners, experts of all fields, social media influencers, and just flat out great people with amazing stories. So tap in with us every Friday at 11 a.m. to get yourself some free game. Let's get it.
and make your welcome a little bit more interesting.
I'll
You.
tell people to get.
Yeah.
2, 1.
Hi, I'm Herb and Lily Thomas. No, that's not right. It's not me.
And remember you.
Right.
And then that's it.
This is Nonprofit Thomas.
Hi, I'm Lily Thomas.
We are founders of the Christian Marriage Reboot Academy, a Texas nonprofit corporation. We've been
Okay. Now again, opening up on both. And that's
Lily
married.
years. Developed.
yeah, that last part.
So
It
close.
looks and sounds.
Hey, like I said, you know.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, we need to bring in the A-team here.
This is the one right here. I can feel it. This is the one. This is the one. All right. Same routine. We got it down. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Herb Thomas.
Hey, I'm Lily Thomas.
We're founders of the Christian Marriage Reboot Academy, a Texas nonprofit corporation. We've been married 47 years. We have 3 sons, 3 daughter-in-laws, and 8 grandchildren.
Herb has extensive training and experience in marriage for the past 60 years. And over the past 7 years, he has been dedicated to studying God's design for marriage and has developed an immersive, regimented academy for husbands and wives to follow.
That was beautiful. The only thing is right at the beginning you were kind of back. I thought it was the camera at first. That happening. I was like, oh my God. But that was perfect. Like,
Okay.
it looked great.
Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Our exclusive value programs range in price from $1,000 to $3,000 per couple. For integrity